Hi everyone, Dreki here, and today I'm unboxing the Xiaomi Mi A1. This is a $200 smartphone with a metal build, a Snapdragon 625, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of ROM, and a dual camera, and the price is what initially attracted me to this device. So without further ado, let's pull this open and show you the smartphone. There it is. On the side of the box you've got the SIM tool, and then inside of there is where your cables and charger are housed. The only included cable is a standard USB to USB-C, and as well there is a screen protector included. The back of the phone is fantastic because it's made out of a nice, cold and solid feeling metal. The metal gives it more of a premium build quality compared to most smartphones I've reviewed at this price point. One thing I noticed is that there is a heck of a lot of text on the back of this smartphone, and half of it is on a sticker so that it's peeled off, but the other half is kinda ugly looking. It makes the phone look a little bit cheaper. I wish they could have stuck with just the Android one and the Mi logo instead of all this regulatory text. Let's turn this thing on and take a look at the front of it then. Compared to many smartphones that have been released today, even some by Xiaomi at a very similar price point, this phone from the front looks a little bit dated. The fact that it has a very tall chin and bottom makes it look a little bit more old school. I don't mind the look, as I really like having capacitive back and home buttons, but one thing I did mind is how the backlight bleeds around the capacitive buttons. That makes the phone look really cheap and is something that's quite easy to solve on Xiaomi's end. Otherwise, I honestly can't find any faults with the build quality. The metal feels solid, there's no creak or flex to the phone, and everything fits together nicely. The screen of the A1 is vibrant and pretty bright. Although my old LG G4 gets brighter and is higher resolution, I don't actually notice the resolution difference between the two phones, as 1080p is enough that I'm not seeing individual pixels. The colors are very vibrant though, and that makes the screen overall look better than the LG G4. As well, since this phone is made out of metal compared to the LG G4's flexible plastic, it feels a lot more premium. Since this phone is running Android without a skin, setup was a breeze and everything is very straightforward. I set up the fingerprint reader immediately, and throughout my testing I haven't had any issues with missed fingerprints, unless I've hit the side of my finger on the reader accidentally. Since I'm coming from an LG phone where the power button is on the back, I love the placement of the fingerprint reader, as it's naturally where my finger falls. The fingerprint reader is fast, but it's not as fast as I've seen on some of my friends' phones. It does have about a quarter-second lag. Other than that, performance has been decent. I haven't noticed any stutters or lags while browsing the web, and I also run Reddit, listen to music, all those sorts of things without any issue. I don't really game on my phone, so your mileage may vary on that. Speaking of listening to music, the single bottom firing speaker is a little bit quiet and tinny for my tastes. I wish it had a little more bass to it or even a secondary speaker to back it up. It does get loud, but it's not something you're going to want to listen to in long term. Thankfully, audio output from the headphone jack is fantastic. It's clean, neutral, and has enough power to drive my Audio-Technica headphones without an additional adapter. Just a note, if you're in North America and you're going to buy this phone, make sure you get the one with the proper band for North America. There are two models. The camera on this phone's a little bit disappointing, and that's mostly due to the lack of optical stabilization. It's a lot harder to take a clear photo with this phone than it is with my LG G4. The difference was noticeable right away. When you do get a clear photo, however, they generally turn out pretty good, and the HDR mode on this phone is quite strong. We'll talk more about the camera in the extended review, but the lack of optical stabilization is one thing that would make me hesitate while recommending this phone to any photographers. Hi everyone, Dreki here, and this is just a walk and talk test with the Mi A1 smartphone. One thing I'm noticing right away is the lack of image stabilization is quite obvious. Okay, so this is a full HD video recording. Just give it about 15-20 seconds here, then we'll try some 4K. This time is 4K video recording. Same thing, gonna give it about 20-30 seconds. See if there's a major difference. Overall, although the design is a little bit dated, the phone runs quite well considering its low price tag, the camera works decently in good lighting, and if you are an audio enthusiast, you'll like the fact that it has a headphone jack that actually outputs decent sound. If you're in the market for a mid-level phone, this phone will do it. It has a decent build quality, the screen looks nice, and the camera is acceptable in daylight. However, do keep in mind that the lack of image stabilization makes it almost unusable in lower light. As well, the additional zoom lens doesn't work in low light, the camera is just using digital zoom when it's lower light. There are definitely a few things that could be refined for the A2 version, but for now, this is a good start. It feels like last generation's flagships, perhaps even 2 generations ago. It's crazy that you can get a device this good for $200. Thanks again for watching, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below.